The drone smaller than your hand. For most of military history, weapons became more powerful by becoming bigger. Bigger bombs, bigger tanks, bigger ships, bigger aircraft. The logic seemed obvious. Size meant power. Then something changed. Today, some of the most feared military technologies on Earth are small enough to fit in a soldier's hand. It's not a missile, it's not a fighter jet, it's not a tank, it's a drone. And for the first time in history, a machine smaller than a bird can decisively influence the outcome of a battle. This single fact is forcing military planners around the world to rewrite their doctrines, to rethink the very nature of combat. They are paying very close attention because they understand that what we are witnessing is not just a new piece of equipment, but a fundamental shift in the balance of power. The age of the microcombatant has arrived, and this is only the beginning. When most people hear the word drone, their minds conjure images of something large, imposing, and expensive. They think of the iconic Predator, the formidable Reaper, or the celebrated Bayraktar. These are massive, multi-million-dollar aircraft, flying thousands of feet above the battlefield, often controlled from a sterile operations center halfway around the world. They are the titans of unmanned aviation, the product of decades of research and development, requiring highly trained crews and extensive logistical support to operate. For years, this was the accepted face of drone warfare, powerful, remote, and exclusive to nations with deep pockets. But the newest generation of military drones looks completely different. This is a revolution happening not in giant hangars, but in small workshops and on soldiers' workbenches. Some of these new systems weigh less than a smartphone. Some are designed to fit seamlessly inside a standard infantry backpack, deployed in seconds. Others are so compact they can be tucked into a cargo pocket right next to a spare magazine. And the most astonishing of them are so small, they can be launched directly from the palm of a soldier's hand, becoming a near-instant extension of their senses. At first glance, they seem harmless, almost like sophisticated toys you might find in a hobbyist's collection. Their small size and quiet electric motors project an aura of benign technology. But that is a dangerous misconception. Their innocuous appearance is a form of camouflage, a psychological Trojan horse. It's precisely this underestimation that makes them one of the most disruptive and perilous new threats on the modern battlefield. They weaponize perception itself, turning an opponent's sense of scale into a critical vulnerability. For over a century, soldiers have been trained to identify and react to specific recognizable threats. Their eyes and ears are conditioned to spot the silhouette of a tank on the horizon, to register the roar of a low-flying aircraft, to recognize the launch signature of a missile, or to anticipate the impact of artillery. Their entire defensive posture is built around countering these known large-scale dangers, but they are not trained to look for a whisper-quiet machine the size of a dragonfly. They are not equipped to defend against tiny flying objects that can hide in the visual clutter of the sky or blend in with the natural environment. Modern warfare is entering a new era, a paradigm shift as significant as the introduction of gunpowder or the airplane. It is an era of asymmetry, where size no longer determines threat, and a single soldier can wield the reconnaissance power of an entire battalion. The battlefield is becoming transparent, where every shadow can be explored and every position potentially compromised by a nearly invisible observer. This is the dawn of ubiquitous surveillance and precision lethality, delivered not by giants, but by insects made of carbon fiber and silicon. The first reason military planners fear these drones is simple. They are difficult to detect. Traditional air defense systems were designed to find large targets: aircraft, helicopters, cruise missiles. But tiny drones create a different challenge. They're small, they're quiet, they fly low, they can blend into the environment, and sometimes they appear too late for defenders to react. Imagine a military base, millions of dollars worth of equipment, radars, vehicles, communication systems. Then a tiny drone appears over the perimeter, not because the defenses failed, because the defenses were designed for something bigger, Military analysts call this an asymmetrical problem, a very small threat creating a very large challenge. And that's becoming one of the defining features of modern warfare. But detection is only part of the story. The second reason these drones are changing warfare is information. For centuries, commanders struggled with the same problem. What is happening on the battlefield? Where is the enemy? What are they doing? The side with better information usually wins. Small drones are turning every squad into its own reconnaissance unit. A soldier no longer needs a helicopter, or an aircraft, or satellite access. A tiny drone can provide information directly from the battlefield. It can fly ahead, look around corners, inspect buildings, observe movement, and send information back instantly. For military planners, information is power, and these drones are making information cheaper than ever before. But the third reason is what truly scares military strategists: numbers. One drone may not matter. 10 drones might. 100 drones definitely do. The future of warfare may not belong to individual drones. It may belong to swarms. A swarm is exactly what it sounds like. Dozens, hundreds, potentially thousands of small drones operating together. Imagine trying to stop one target. Now imagine trying to stop 100. Some carry sensors, some carry cameras, some act as decoys, some perform electronic warfare, some identify threats, some relay communications, and some may carry weapons. The defender faces an impossible question. Which drone matters? Which drone is dangerous? Which drone is real? And which drone is designed to distract you? This is why military planners around the world are investing billions in counter-drone technology, because the swarm changes everything. Traditional defenses were built around expensive threats. The swarm creates cheap threats in large numbers, and that changes the economics of warfare. Which brings us to another uncomfortable reality, one rooted in simple, brutal economics. Modern militaries are discovering that their most advanced, expensive systems often struggle against cheap, disposable ones. This is the harsh lesson of asymmetric warfare. Imagine a state-of-the-art air defense system, the result of billions in research and development, launching a multi-million-dollar interceptor missile. Its target? A commercially derived drone that might cost less than a used car. Now imagine this isn't a one-time event. Imagine it happens 10, 50, or 100 times a day. The cost-exchange ratio becomes fundamentally unsustainable. The defender goes bankrupt long before the attacker runs out of cheap drones. The numbers become difficult very quickly, and military planners, the people responsible for balancing budgets and national security, know it all too well. They are facing a strategic crisis where financial attrition is as dangerous as battlefield losses. This economic reality is the primary driver behind a global arms race, but not for battleships or stealth bombers. This is why almost every major military power is intensely studying, developing, and deploying small drones. The United States, China, Russia, pioneers like Turkey and Israel, rising powers such as India, the collective strength of European nations. Everyone sees the same trend, and no one can afford to be left behind. The technology is proliferating at an unprecedented rate, moving from superpowers to regional players and even non-state groups. The barrier to entry for a capable air force has never been lower. As a result, the very nature of the battlefield is being rewritten. It's becoming smaller as the gap between seeing a target and engaging it collapses from hours to seconds. It's becoming faster, with swarms of coordinated assets moving at speeds and complexities that humans can't possibly track alone. It's more connected, with every soldier, sensor, and weapon woven into a single, intricate digital network. And it is becoming far, far more crowded, not just with friendly and enemy forces, but with a constant, overwhelming presence of autonomous and semi-autonomous machines. But perhaps the most surprising and transformative development is the rapid maturation of artificial intelligence. For years, drones were essentially remote-controlled puppets, heavily dependent on human operators. Someone, often thousands of miles away, had to control them, guide them, interpret their sensor feeds, and make every critical decision. That human-in-the-loop model was a bottleneck. Now, artificial intelligence is fundamentally changing that relationship. The puppet is learning to think for itself. Instead of telling a drone exactly what to do, fly to these coordinates, at this altitude, pointing this direction, operators can increasingly assign abstract objectives. Search this grid, map this entire valley, monitor this convoy route, identify and flag any unusual activity. The drone, powered by its onboard AI, performs much of the work itself, figuring out the optimal flight path, managing its sensors, and only alerting its human supervisor when its mission is complete or it requires a strategic decision. This shift from direct control to mission command dramatically increases a single operator's effectiveness, allowing them to manage not one, but a dozen or more assets simultaneously. But as these systems become more capable and independent, it also raises profound new ethical and strategic concerns. But the rapid integration of autonomy isn't just about gaining an advantage. It's also about confronting a new and complex landscape of risk. Because autonomous systems, by their very nature, introduce vulnerabilities that are fundamentally different from those of human-operated machines. We are forced to ask a series of deeply unsettling questions. What happens when the software guiding a weapon makes a mistake in a fraction of a second? A single line of flawed code or a misinterpretation of sensor data could lead to catastrophic failure. What happens when identification systems fail? When the complex algorithms designed to distinguish friend from foe or combatant from civilian prove to be fallible? The potential for tragic errors, including fratricide or civilian casualties, becomes a stark reality. And what happens when an autonomous drone, operating beyond the reach of its human controller, encounters something entirely unexpected? A novel form of camouflage, an unanticipated weather event, or a sophisticated electronic warfare attack. In these moments, the machine's response is governed not by human intuition, but by the cold, hard limits of its programming.
These are not abstract, futuristic hypotheticals. Military planners, strategists, and ethicists are grappling with these questions right now, in classified briefings and wargaming centers around the world. They are doing so with a profound sense of urgency, because the future battlefield they are modeling may involve thousands, or even tens of thousands, of intelligent machines operating simultaneously. This creates a level of complexity that is almost impossible for the human mind to grasp. We are not just talking about a more crowded airspace, but a dynamic, interconnected ecosystem of competing and cooperating AIs. And no one, not even the engineers who design these systems, fully understands what that battlefield will look like. We can predict individual behaviors, but the emergent properties of the whole system, the unpredictable, cascading interactions between countless autonomous agents, remain a terrifying unknown. The traditional fog of war is being compounded by a new digital fog of algorithms.
Yet amid all this uncertainty, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The drone revolution we are witnessing is only the very beginning. The systems deployed today, which already seem so advanced, will inevitably look primitive compared to the drones of the next decade. The relentless march of technology guarantees it. Sensors will continue to shrink while their resolution and capabilities expand. Battery technology will improve, granting these machines greater endurance and range. The artificial intelligence at their core will become more sophisticated, allowing for more complex decision-making. Communications will get faster and more resilient, enabling vast, self-healing mesh networks of drones. This will lead to greater autonomy, larger and more intelligent swarms, and a dizzying array of new capabilities we are only just beginning to imagine. The technology continues to evolve at a remarkable, almost biological speed, and unlike traditional military hardware like tanks, aircraft carriers, or fighter jets, these systems can improve at the speed of software. A tank or a ship is a massive industrial undertaking. It may remain in service for decades with only minor upgrades. But a drone's core design can be iterated upon and changed in a matter of months or even weeks. New software can be pushed out overnight, instantly changing the behavior of an entire fleet. This blistering pace of change means military organizations must adapt faster than ever before. The cycle of procurement, training, and doctrine development, which used to be measured in years, must now be compressed into months. The battlefield itself is evolving. The rules of engagement are evolving. The very nature of the threats is evolving. And for the modern soldier, many of those threats are no longer miles away on a distant horizon. They are small, quiet, and lethal, and they can fit inside a backpack. For generations, military power was measured by size. The biggest fleet, the biggest army, the biggest aircraft, the biggest weapons. The future may look very different, because some of the most important military technologies of this century may be small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, and that may be the most surprising military revolution of all. The next great military threat might not arrive with the sound of jet engines. It might arrive almost silently, small, cheap, difficult to see, difficult to stop, and operating as part of a swarm far larger than anyone expected. The age of giant weapons isn't over, but for the first time in history, the smallest weapons are becoming some of the most important. And militaries around the world are racing to prepare for what comes next. Because tomorrow's battlefield could fit inside a pocket.